Hey guys, this is Echo Sowers, and you are checking out a tip and trick tutorial video. So in this video, we'll be talking about workflow improvements with the hope of being able to finish more and finish more often. We posted a question on Facebook a little while ago asking you guys what's been one of the biggest hurdles you faced in your production. And one of the most common ideas that came up in that thread was just simply the idea of not being able to finish what you start. So I look at that as more of a workflow issue as opposed to just a creative issue. Sometimes it can be a creative issue, but how many times has this happened to you? You've opened up an old session, maybe you're searching for a file, or you're cleaning stuff out on your hard drive, and you're kind of shocked by how good or how much you like the direction your track was going, and you kind of think, why didn't I finish this? It's happened to me a bunch. So I think by following the technique or method we're going to look at in this video, you're going to improve your workflow, definitely, but I think it'll also help you finish things more often because you're going to be more efficient with everything you do. So let's check it out. All right, guys, so off camera, I have opened a template that I created in Logic. Now, you can do this in every DAW. Obviously, I can't teach you how to do this in every DAW because I don't use every DAW, but you can create templates or starting points. So I have a few of them. This one is one that I use fairly often for future-based stuff, whether it's sound design demos or an actual track. So the idea is you want to achieve a few things with these templates to improve your workflow. You want to first kind of create a fail-safe for just wasting time. How many times have you sat down to produce and you find yourself just dinking around and an hour or two goes by because you're having fun, but a good chunk of time goes by and you realize you haven't really got anything down. You've just been, basically just messing around. So that can be alleviated by creating templates. Now, also, you're going to set yourself up, I think, for a better mix if you do it right. I have a little bit of master or two-bus processing occurring here. If you guys watch my videos, you've probably seen this before. I also have some aux sends set up so I can quickly and easily set up some buses. And it makes having things sound more mix-ready as I'm arranging, obviously, quicker. And for me, that's a big battle. So I'm going to quickly run through some of these ideas. I don't want this video to be more than like 6-7 minutes. So I just have different categories. Now these categories they're basically just folders where I can drop down and then there are individual tracks. Now I do want to point out that all these categories are the volume on the actual folder is turned down to -7. I do that for two reasons. First, it's going to help with clipping or potential clipping. Second, it's going to make mixing the actual tracks a little bit easier because I'm not going to be clipping, in each individual track in the folder or the group folder. Now, it's also going to kind of stop me from turning things down to like -35 and just helps me with gain staging, right? I'm just giving myself that -7. And if I were to turn off my master bus processing, if I wanted to export the track for an actual mastering house and I wanted to give them about 7 decibels of headroom, I'm pretty much set up, right? I don't have to go turn everything down. If there's automation, I don't have to do all that. It's a little bit easier. I might have to tweak some things, but not the whole mix. Now, next thing I want to talk about is just giving yourself options. And there's a fine line with this. You don't want too many options, but you don't want to be too limited either. So let's check out my bass subfolder as an example. I have one audio track called Elect Bass if I want to do an electric actual real bass. Next is a Kontakt instance, it's all turned off, of Sub-Zero 808s loaded up, our sub library. Now, I have channel EQ as well as the free plugin A1 stereo control because this has a really nice feature where you can control the stereo width and have it be based off of frequency. So we can have safe bass and we can have anything under that threshold of safe bass be in mono, but it's turned off. It's just there in case I need it. Next, we have an instance of Serum, another instance of Serum for maybe low bass, top bass, massive, and then a new synth. This is the idea of kind of not limiting yourself, but limiting yourself. Because there is something to be said for creativity through limitation, but obviously too much limitation is a bad thing. So on a lot of these categories, I'll have an option for a new synth, right? I have it on the chord synths as well. And all that's really saying is, okay, maybe I get partway into my arrangement with my bass, for instance, and I use Serum or Massive, and I have the thought, there's a sound in Trillion that I'm thinking of that'll be perfect. Well, instead of having to, change the total instance of Serum or Massive, I can just load up the new synth, drag the MIDI down, be done with it. So let's go into the lead synths and look at it again. Serum, Massive, Nexus, Silent, Avenger, Spire, just common synths that I use for lead sounds. And if we look at the chords, it's the same thing, right? So I'm gonna talk about this aux, or these bus sends, right? So I'm going to hit X on my keyboard, and you can see I have them set up on pretty much every track in each group, and they're down here in orange, nicely labeled. Saturation is the first one, then we have delay, reverb 1 and 2, stereo, and P-comp. These are just common aux sends or buses that I found myself using on pretty much every track, so I thought, why not have them as a starting place? Now, the plugins might change for sure, right? Like on the distortion or saturation when I have FabFilter Saturn, sometimes I use Trash, sometimes I use Soundtoys, it really depends, but these are just these are plugins that I'm really comfortable in because I've used them for a long time, so they're there, and I can just get going. And like I said, partway through the mix, I may change them. Same thing with the reverb. If I just need to add reverb, if I need to do that, it's there. I think it's easier to have all this set up on the tracks ready to go as opposed to not having it set up and having to choose the plugin, right? If all I have to do at some point is change out the reverb, let's say I want to change from FabFilter or Valhalla to Arts Acoustic or Slate Verb Suite, all I have to do is change the plugin. The aux send, the bus is still connected, so it's just quicker and easier. So that's really the idea, guys. You can take this idea and run with it and really create your own templates, obviously, that fit the type of music, the type of productions that you're doing. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I'm Echo Soundworks. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.